China thought it could beat SpaceX to the moon, but Starship just flipped the script. As China races to land astronauts by 2030, SpaceX's latest breakthroughs may have shattered that timeline completely. Could this be the moment America reclaims dominance in the new lunar race and leaves China watching from afar? Let's dive right in. When Elon Musk finally admitted that Starship still has a big problem, it sent shockwaves through the entire aerospace community and caught Beijing's attention instantly. For years, SpaceX has been the bold frontrunner in humanity's return to the moon. But behind those dramatic launches and Musk's confident statements lies a hard truth. Starship isn't ready yet, and that single fact could open the door for China to take the lead. In early 2024, Musk revealed that the biggest roadblock isn't engine power or flight control. It's orbital refueling. Starship can't reach the moon on a single tank. It needs multiple fuel transfers in Earth orbit, each one performed with absolute precision. A single misaligned valve, one failed seal, or even a few degrees of drift, and the entire mission collapses. This challenge alone could define the outcome of the new space race. While SpaceX is testing and refining, China is quietly accelerating, avoiding the spotlight, but moving fast. Unlike SpaceX, which tests in public and fails in front of millions, China's CNSA operates in near total silence. No live streams, no viral explosions, just results. Since 2019, they've achieved 4 successful lunar missions, including one on the moon's far side, something no other nation has ever done. Then in 2020, they stunned the world again by returning lunar samples to Earth, a first since the 1970s. To many Western observers, China's 2030 crewed lunar goal seems ambitious, but history says otherwise. When Beijing sets a target, they rarely miss it. And there's more at stake than national pride. It's about resources. China's research agencies have repeatedly emphasized the moon's south pole as a priority, rich in helium-3, a potential future fuel for nuclear fusion. If they secure it first, they won't just win the race, they could control a key piece of the future energy market. That's not science fiction. It's economic strategy played out on a cosmic scale. And suddenly, SpaceX's race isn't just about technology anymore. It's about who defines the next era of human civilization. NASA's Artemis program depends entirely on SpaceX's lunar Starship. The plan was bold. Launch by 2026, land astronauts, and begin a new era of lunar exploration. But internal delays have pushed that to 2027, and the margin for error is disappearing fast. Here's the catch. Before any astronaut lands, SpaceX must prove a full-scale uncrewed demo. Launch, refuel, land on the moon, and return. Every part must work perfectly. The hardest part? Keeping Starship's fuel, liquid methane and oxygen, stable in orbit for days or even weeks. It's called cryogenic management, and no company on Earth has ever done it successfully in space. One temperature spike or pressure loss could destroy the mission. Every test failure now directly impacts NASA's schedule. Meanwhile, China's program moves independently, unaffected by NASA's bureaucracy. If SpaceX misses 2026, the headlines could read, "China lands on the moon before America even tests its lander." That possibility alone has Washington nervous. Even if refueling succeeds, another challenge waits. Landing Starship safely on the moon. It's not as simple as touchdown and celebrate. The moon's gravity is just 1/6 of Earth's. That means Starship, standing nearly 50 meters tall, risks tipping over during landing. Imagine trying to balance a skyscraper on sand. To counter this, SpaceX engineers developed mid-body thrusters, smaller methane-fueled engines mounted halfway up the ship. They'll handle the final 100 meters of descent, minimizing dust and debris. But there's no way to truly simulate lunar dust, called regolith, on Earth. If it kicks up too much, it could blind sensors or damage critical hardware mid-landing. As Musk once admitted, the moon looks peaceful, but it's brutally difficult to land there safely. Ironically, China might have the advantage here. Their proposed Chang'e 8 crewed lander uses a shorter, wider design, less advanced but inherently more stable. While SpaceX pushes innovation to the edge, China bets on predictability. Different philosophy, both racing toward the same gray horizon. This competition is more than rockets. It's two systems colliding. The American model, innovation through private enterprise, rapid testing, and transparency. The Chinese model, government centralization, long-term planning, and absolute control. SpaceX can afford to fail 10 times and still move forward. China, by contrast, avoids public failure at all costs. But when they act, it's with near-perfect precision. It's Silicon Valley versus state command, chaos versus control. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Musk's fail-fast method gives him speed, but also vulnerability. Every explosion in Boca Chica is a headline Beijing uses to frame the U.S. as reckless. And quietly, China's engineers are studying every single frame of SpaceX footage. They're learning from Musk's failures without paying the price. It's a strange form of shadow progress. They don't have to innovate faster. They just have to wait for SpaceX to solve the hardest problems and replicate the solutions later. By the end of 2025, SpaceX expects at least 8 to 10 more Starship flights. Each one is designed to test rapid reusability, fuel transfer, and booster recovery with the Mechazilla tower. If all goes right, Starship could relaunch within days, a first in human history. But if any major failure occurs, it could push NASA's Artemis schedule further, possibly beyond 2028. That's why every flight now feels like history in real time. The world isn't just watching for a rocket to succeed, it's watching whether America can maintain technological dominance. And behind all of it, another layer of tension grows. The U.S. Space Force has quietly begun evaluating Starship for military logistics, moving heavy payloads between orbits or even across continents. If SpaceX wins this race, it's not just a lunar victory, it cements the U.S. as the dominant power in space for decades. If they lose, the global balance shifts, not just in technology, but in influence. Officially, China says it aims for a crewed lunar landing by 2030. But internal documents and leaked strategy papers suggest otherwise. Beijing's real timeline could be 2028, 2 years earlier than publicly announced. Their plan, an uncrewed test in 2028, followed by a short-duration human mission in 2029. If that happens, they'll plant their flag before NASA or SpaceX even completes their first demo. And that's not all. China's long-term blueprint includes building a permanent lunar base by 2035, the International Lunar Research Station. It's a joint project with Russia and several developing nations. The goal isn't exploration, it's presence. Whoever builds the first base controls the rules, the access, and possibly the resources. It's the same pattern we saw with the South China Sea, but now on the moon. Beyond politics and rockets, this story carries something deeper. The story of humanity itself. SpaceX embodies the risk of freedom, pushing boundaries through trial, error, and innovation. China embodies the power of control, methodical, focused, and unrelenting. Both paths are shaping humanity's destiny beyond Earth. But here's the question no one asks. Which system will humanity trust to carry its legacy into space? Freedom or control? For the first time since the Cold War, this question isn't theoretical. It's playing out live, launch by launch, test by test. And Elon Musk, for all his flaws, has become the face of that gamble. Because every time Starship rises, it's not just a rocket. It's a statement. Humanity still dares to dream, even when failure is guaranteed along the way. While the world focuses on the problems with Starship, Musk has already shifted strategy. Behind the scenes, SpaceX is developing a cargo variant, designed not for astronauts, but for orbital refueling and heavy payload transport. That's the real key to solving the refueling dilemma. If this version succeeds, it could refuel lunar starships faster and cheaper, turning each mission into an assembly line process. In other words, the problem Musk revealed might not be a weakness at all, but a distraction. He's letting the world underestimate him, just as China quietly overestimates its speed. And if SpaceX cracks this system before 2026, China's secret plan will collapse before it even begins. Because no matter how much they build, nothing beats reusability and speed. That's the true future of space travel, and Musk knows it. And this is exactly why Elon Musk's big problem could become SpaceX's greatest breakthrough. Solving orbital refueling isn't just about reaching the moon. It's about unlocking a new era of reusable, affordable spaceflight that changes how humanity explores the universe. What this means is simple. Whoever masters this first will lead the next century of space innovation. The next few Starship tests will decide everything: success, delay, or dominance. And this is just the beginning of that race. So what do you think? Can SpaceX overcome its toughest challenge before China plants its flag on the moon? Share your thoughts below. We'd love to hear your take. This is Space Hub, where we dive deep into real space breakthroughs and uncover what truly drives humanity forward. If you found value in this video, hit like, drop a comment, subscribe to Space Hub, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next mission update. Because the race isn't just to the moon, it's for the future of us all.